Hello again, guys, and welcome back. I'm here with another multiplayer game I played the other day in Battle for Wesnoth. This game was Undead. I was playing as Undead, and my opponent was just a random faction, random civ, I guess. They ended up being the Rebels, but of course I didn't know that at the beginning. But let's just get started into the game here. This was a pretty long game, much longer than the last one I posted as the Northerners. It was a pretty good game as well. I won't spoil the ending this time. I saw some people commenting that they hoped that I wouldn't spoil what the result would be, so I won't do that. However, I will say that this was a much tougher game for me than the other ones I recently shared. It kind of depends, you know, when you're playing online in Wesnoth, I find, especially for like kind of casual games, mostly what I've been playing. I've not been playing ranked yet. I would like to try playing the ranked ladder to see how it is, but recently I've just been playing casual games just to kind of practice a little bit, and it's pretty mixed bag. Sometimes you get really easy games where you just like sweep very quickly, and I've had a few games where it was like either they quit immediately or just a couple turns and it's not very interesting, so I didn't bother to share it. I've had other games too where it's like really brutal, where I get swept in like a couple turns, or you know, the game just grinds on forever and then it's just like nothing really happening. But this was a pretty fun game. A lot of things happened in it, so let's get started with the first turn. And you see, this was my turn 1 recruitment. Let's take a look at his recruitment as well. Okay, so actually let me change the map so I can see the whole map at all the times. Let's take a look at my recruitment first. Now, I had no idea who he was. He chose random faction, so I really didn't know what he was going to be playing as when I first started the game. So I just picked up a pretty kind of loose assortment of units. I think these are pretty good units in general, just some things that I thought would be generally useful. Dark Adepts are kind of the key unit for Undead, so I got 2 of these guys. I got a Bat just for scouting. I got a Ghost also for scouting, but also for, you know, flanking and stuff. Ghosts are kind of like your version of cavalry. They're pretty fast. They cover a lot of ground, so they're great for example, you can see how far they can go. Bats are a little bit farther, but Ghosts can cover a large area, so they're great for scouting long distance, and they're much more durable and powerful than Bats, so they're a little bit better for like actually attacking. Bats are really not great fighters. They're really just good for scouting and capturing villages. Also got a Ghoul. Ghouls are good at holding villages. They have a lot of HP. They have a poison attack, so they're good at like just holding a village or poisoning enemies. And Skeletons are just generally good units. Like they're the kind of unit you want to use quite a lot. So that was my choice. I also captured this village the first turn. Now, I said before, he ended up being Rebels. He didn't choose Rebels. He started as Rebels as a random civ. And look, he got a pretty good starting set. He got a few warriors. Looks like 2 warriors, 2 elvish fighters, 1 elvish archer, a shaman, and then 2 scouts. It's a pretty good starting situation. The shaman is great as a healer because that can support his troops, and the scouts are also good to cover a lot of ground. Scouts are good for harassing the enemy, as you've seen in the previous rebel game I played against Dunefolk. Scouts are really useful as rebels. I always like to get at least a couple of them, regardless of who I'm playing against. Some factions that might be more useful, but generally having a couple scouts is really good. Again, just for scouting the map and for capturing villages or harassing the enemy. And actually, this guy, I don't know if he gets any more scouts later. He does get a few. I think he always keeps at least 2 throughout the game. Again, this is my first time watching the replay, but when I played the game, throughout the whole game, he always had at least 2 scouts as far as I could tell. So that's a pretty good number, I think, to keep, because he used them very effectively to harass me basically in the rear. And basically his scouts were almost always in the rear harassing, just being annoying, you know, and that's kind of what you want to do with them. So pretty good start here. We also had a little bit of a chat at the beginning. I guess he recognized some of my videos from before, so maybe he's seen them before. I kind of had my obligatory little bit of cope that I kind of suck with Undead. The reason I mentioned this is because before I played this game with him, I had 2 other games as Undead prior to this, and I lost both of them. So I kind of had to get my initial cope out of the way. Now, one thing annoying about this map that really bothered me is these little huts that I thought were villages, but they're not. On some maps, I believe this tile is a village, But on this map, it wasn't a village, so that was so annoying because I wasted my time going to capture them when basically they're not a real village, which is annoying. So I sent this guy up to capture this, wasted my time. I could have sent him to capture something else like these tents. So on this map, only the tents and the huts, the swamp huts, and these huts are actually villages. I thought these are villages, but they're not apparently, so it's really, really annoying for me because wasting my time trying to capture them when they're just like a decorative tile, basically. All right, so spreading out here, let me zoom out a little bit to get a better view of the map. Again, I just want to capture as many villages as I can early in the game. It looks like he's doing the same too. He's pushing more concisely down, and he's also moving out with his commander as well. So I guess he wants to move to a good position. I tend to like to keep my commander in one spot, but this map has a lot of fort positions, both rear and forward positions, so it really does suit you to move forward and push your enemy. So for example, as you're pushing in, move your commander forward to further and further forts so you can recruit a little bit closer to the front line. And later I do end up doing it just because being so far in the back here is not really sustainable. Let's continue on here. Right, again, spreading out across the map. And he's spreading out as well, kind of spreading out pretty evenly. I find he's a little bit more concentrated than I am. He has more of his units together. My units are really spread out. I have a Dark Adept here, Skeleton here, Bat here, Ghost here, Ghoul here. So really spread out across the map. I think it would have been more suitable for me to get more of the same units. Getting a bunch of units that are very different, like a Ghoul, a Ghost, a Bat, a Dark Adept, a Skeleton, is not good. I think if I was going to play this again, and maybe if I knew who I was playing against, I probably would have swapped out this Ghoul for another Skeleton, and maybe the Ghost for another Skeleton as well. So maybe get these two to be Skeletons, and not even bother with that. I would keep the Bat, however. Bats are great for scouts, and they're pretty useful. As Undead, I think it's good to always keep at least one Bat around. Again, I'm not that experienced with Undead, but in general, having at least a Bat or a Ghost, at least one or the other, is pretty good. Depending which faction you're facing, I think against Rebels, probably Ghosts are not great because, I don't know, they just tend to die very easily to Rebels' bow attacks. They get chewed up very quickly, and they're not that strong either. Their attacks are not that great. They're more good because of their mobility, and you're better using these against factions that are a little bit less mobile than you. And since Rebels are super mobile, they tend to lose their effectiveness. So I'd rather have a Bat, which are crazy mobile, and even though their attacks are not great, I mean, they're okay. They have a drain attack, and you know, they're more for mobility and capturing things rather than actually doing anything. So next turn here, again, just capturing villages. I think I do spread out quite a bit, but here I kind of realized that, and I kind of concentrate these guys up a little bit, and later I have this guy join them as well. So he's really concentrating his forces here. He's making a big push on both sides. Immediate aggression from him, which is good. You know, a lot of other games I played, I find people are a little bit too passive at the beginning. I find he's pushing immediately in, really aggressive. And I kind of push, but you can see here, my push on this side is weak. I have a Ghoul here, I have a Ghost here. Ghosts are not able to stand up against Rebels. The Ghoul is good for holding, but he's not really able to take out any units. My main push is on this side. You can see I have another Skeleton here. I'm moving up my commander to this castle so he can start recruiting from here. And I'm actually going to be pushing here later, but you can see all my units are still too far in the back. It's going to be hard for me to cope with what he has, pushing down here. Lucky he mostly has 2 scouts, which are pretty weak to deal with. Undead can clear out scouts pretty easily if they can catch them. But either way, let's continue on. Now you can see here, I pulled my Bat all the way back. You may be wondering why. Okay. At this point, I see that he's playing Rebels, and I'm recruiting just Skeletons. Skeletons are the best unit against Rebels because, let me take a look at the unit quickly. They resist blade and pierce damage by a lot. So those are like the main damage types that Rebels have. They have swords and they have arrows and spears and stuff. So Skeletons are great. They're weak to impact damage and fire, so mages can do pretty good damage against them. as with the Wozes. Wozes have a big impact attack. So later in the game, you can see he starts recruiting a lot of Wozes, and I kind of fumble in dealing with those. But Wozes are a good idea against Undead, and Skeletons are a good idea against Rebels. You can see here, I pulled this bat back. That's because I thought this little hut was a village, and obviously it's not. So I end up wasting my time coming back here for nothing when I should be pushing him forward to scout behind. If I'd sent that bat in the rear, maybe he could have been harassing them and taking his villages. So I think this was a big mistake by me to send it back. But again, my mistake for not really paying attention to which villages are actually villages and which ones are just fake villages. So yeah, I go there, realize there's nothing there, and pull it back. So now I'm getting lots of skeletons. This is going to be my main push over here. This scout is going to be taken out pretty quickly. Dark Adepts do a lot of damage. And there he goes. Dark Adepts with a few skeletons are great for a push. You just don't want the Dark Adepts to get hit by anybody because they don't have any melee attacks. So any melee fighters are going to chew them up pretty quickly. You really need skeletons to be there to guard them. I only have one here. Really, I should be waiting for more skeletons to come out before I push. I just want to take advantage of that one guy here, but you can see I do kind of wait for these skeletons to move up. The problem is this river here, it really slows movement because you really have to go right to the river and then cross in the next turn. You can't really cross in one turn, so it makes it very annoying to get across here. Here he's got a big push coming. You see he's concentrating all his forces over here. He's got swordsman, archer, warrior, shaman over here to come heal. He's got a swordsman scout. He's got a merman as well. So he's got a big push coming over here. I don't have that much. I have my skeletons, but they're all still behind the lines. They're just a little bit too slow. I think it would have been more suitable for me to concentrate all these guys and push out rather than do it a little bit piecemeal like this. Yeah, I think sending this guy over here was a mistake. I mean, I kind of wanted to block them, but I think sending more skeletons to the front would have been a better idea. And unfortunately, this Dark Adept takes way too much damage, more than I would have liked, and I think he ends up dying later. Yeah, unfortunate. So yeah, protecting the Dark Adepts is very important because these swordsmen, for example, they have 4 attacks, 5 times 4, so they could chop these guys up very quickly. I am worried about this push here, so I kind of pulled this guy here to defend this village. I think this is maybe a mistake, I don't know. So this ghost is able to take out 1 archer, and this ghoul shows the effectiveness of the ghoul holding villages. They can sit in this village, just absorb damage very easily. Let's take a look at the ghoul very quickly. They resist like a lot of damage types. They resist like almost every damage type except impact. But impact they're at least neutral towards. So ghouls are great on the defense. And they poison everybody they attack. So taking down a ghoul defending a village is really difficult. That's why ghouls are great on defense. I would say ghouls are most useful against melee heavy factions. So maybe like loyalists who really suffer when dealing with poison. And who else? Maybe northerners as well. Anyone who really doesn't have that much range damage, like elves have a ton of range damage. All their units have both range and melee damage, so they can easily pinprick this guy without him being able to respond. But also they have healers, like their shaman can easily heal poison. I think the shaman can heal poison, right? Do they have cure as well? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, they only have heal, but still healing can offset the poison a little bit, and then they can always send them to a village later to cure. So they do have that option. Loyalists, for example, don't have that option. They do have a healer, but they have to level up a mage first, which takes some time. And again, you have to protect that leveled up mage. Let's keep moving on. Again, separating these guys, I think is a bit of a mistake. But we are able to clear them up, and this guy's able to heal up later. You can see again, poison that guy. I don't know why he attacked him. Like, he should just be using the magic, yeah. Okay, so he used magic, so I attacked him. Sorry, that was my mistake. And yeah, they're able to take him out eventually. Big push here. Bringing his commander here as well, so we can recruit with his push. I think if I had done that, maybe it would have been better to keep my commander with my army, so that way I can move him to the front and keep recruiting over here. We end up kind of doing a big merry-go-round. Like, I'm still back here. I'm a little bit too cautious with my commander sometimes, even though I criticize other people for being too reckless with their commanders, and indeed, some people are a bit too reckless. This guy's protecting his commander really well. All his units are always around his commander. I tend to keep my commander in the fort at all times. I'm always really nervous about bringing him out. Maybe I should calm down a little bit and send him with my army, and also concentrate the army a little bit more. I think Undead really benefit from having a concentrated force. Having them all very spread out like this is a little bit problematic sometimes. Next turn here, again, just keep moving forward. I send this guy back to defend, which maybe is a mistake, and I send my commander back, which again, maybe is a mistake. I maybe should have sent my commander up and just abandoned this whole southern area. I try to defend this area, but it doesn't really work out. He just has too much here. I'm not able to really easily defend it. So this army will be able to push. He really doesn't have anything defending. He has a merman and a fighter, and that's it. So he really has no defense up here, but you can see he's totally abandoned this area. He's pushing all the way down here. I'm still trying to defend here, and it's pretty hard to defend this. You know, this is a tough fight, honestly. I abandoned it with my commander because I know this is lost. I try to hold on with these guys as best I can. Two skeletons here, 3 skeletons here. These guys are going to stay here and defend. Probably would have been better to pull them back. Maybe just leave 1 defending or 2. Like you see, he only leaves 2 guys up here defending. I should have maybe left 2 here to harass him and maybe pull them back a little bit. Probably going back to defend this river would be the better idea, and maybe some of these villages. I don't know, pushing too forward was a bit of a mistake, I think. So I'm able to clear this up very easily. These guys get cleaned up. Yeah, this guy's done. So I clean up his defense in the north, and basically, again, we end up switching sides. I have to run away with my commander to the north. So you got a big force here to get my commander, and this is a very tough terrain too. So I try to run away with my commander as soon as possible. I basically abandon these skeletons here because, like, I think I can like hold them down a little bit to save my commander. But yeah, this ends up being a bit of a big loss for me. I really should have only left maybe 2 skeletons here, if not maybe just 1. But again, running with my commander, I should probably run with them a little bit sooner. And he's got quite a big army at this point. Let me see. I have 11 units, so 10 infantry. And he has what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? 6, so a little bit less than me. But most of mine are in the north up here. And again, my commander is running now. He's sprinting off, trying to get out of here. This is a pretty good defensive position. I think keeping these 2 here would have been the best idea. Maybe spreading them out again, bringing 1 to the fungus to defend and another one on this village. That would have been the best idea to kind of defend this area a little bit better. You could see they're really harassing my commander, and he almost gets blocked in here. He barely makes it out. So that's very dangerous, to be honest. And I have a little bit indecision here. I'm kind of worried about my commander, so I end up kind of like not really doing much with my troops up here. Really, I should be, instead of leaving them here, I should be pushing back this way and trying to push around where he just pushed around. That probably would have been the best idea. I think if I had done that, it would have benefited me a lot, but having my commander lagging behind like this is really, really dangerous. So I really think this is a tough situation. He's just running. He's running now. Wasting another skeleton. I probably should have brought him with the commander to defend him, but, you know, whatever. These guys defend for a long time, though, which is great, because they do hold up this guy. And damn, his commander came really close here. I think if the RNG was a little bit luckier for me, I might have even killed this commander here. He has 10 HP left, so very close for him. That was very dangerous, to be honest. These guys hit for a lot of damage at nighttime. 9 times 3 at nighttime. So he could have very easily died here if the RNG was a little bit lucky for me. Oh well, you know, could have, who knows what could have happened. These guys hold out pretty well and hold back his units. You can see he's getting Wozes now. Wozes are a great choice against Undead because they have a really powerful crush attack. especially the level 2 Wozes or Wozes during the daytime because they're lawful. They have a really powerful, brutal attack that can kill most skeletons very easily. You can see again, I split up my forces, and he even sends a horse up here to harass me. And I think this is where I really have a problem. I shouldn't be splitting up my forces like this. I should be trying to concentrate them. That would be probably the best idea. Ideally, what I should be doing is bringing my commander up here with these two to kill the scout. But I don't do that. Yeah, sending these guys down alone, I think, is a mistake. I mean, I don't know. I send these guys here to help kill this horse. I think they do kill him. But again, it's like wasting time with this guy. I fall into the old typical elf tricks of just wasting time dealing with these little harassing units while he can like sweep up in other places. Yeah, cleaning up here, cleaning up there, and he can just run in the back. So he doesn't care. Which again is how you want to play elves. You just want to ignore that. Don't even bother fighting with these scout types. Just keep harassing them. Now this guy is very close to leveling up. Getting brutalized here. Oh my god. Utter brutality. This is so lucky. You can see I even comment here. Wholesome RNG. This guy is like so lucky. He's standing on by a thread at the moment. He's barely hanging on. One-man army here. Holy shit, that was brutal. But he's able to hold up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units here. So good job on him. This guy's here. Again, like, I think my inability to really commit with units here is a big mistake by me. Because I have one guy over here. A couple units here. I kind of try to push back on this side. But I don't know. I feel like it's hard for me to commit. I really need to commit with Undead. I think that's my problem. I spread out too much. I have too much of the elf mentality. Undead, I think you really have to mass your forces, have a big chunk of just skeletons and adepts moving out in formation, and then you can really be brutal, especially at nighttime. If I can have a big chunk of units moving out during the night, I think that's how you win as Undead. I think I really have a hard time doing that. I tend to spread out my units a little bit too much, like skeleton here, instead of just concentrating the forces in one position. Let's move on next turn. Alright, so he kills this guy and upgrades. I upgrade him to a Revenant, which maybe is a good idea. I don't know. I picked Revenant because he has more HP. And basically I know this guy's not getting out of that position, so I thought, okay, just go for the higher HP. Hopefully that'll hold him in. The problem is it's daytime and Wozes can kill that guy in like 2 hits, so it's not going anywhere. A little bit of a push here by me. I think this push is just not enough, though. These guys are all held up by the Revenant, but look at this. The Woes just crushes him. 2 hits by the Woes, and he's done. 16 attack during the daytime is just way too much. And this Horseman is, like, so annoying. He's picking off all my things. This Horseman is, like, the bane of my game for the rest of this game. He just runs around constantly in the back here, taking my villages, annoying me constantly. And at this point, I do have a resource advantage. A slight resource advantage, but still I have it. That's because I still control a lot of these forts all along this northern side, and he hasn't grabbed this one yet. Is this mine still? I think this is still mine. So he hasn't grabbed that one yet, so I'm still at a resource advantage. I think at this point, I'm at my strongest. He has 1, 2 units here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units there. So, 6, 7. So actually, he has much better positioning than I do. My problem is my units are way too spread out. I have units here, my commander's here, I have a unit here, I have a unit here, bat here. Like, they're all kind of like behind my lines, not really being effective. If I could bring more of these units up, like if this Dark Adept was here with these units, if my commander was maybe here recruiting, if this skeleton was here as well, one of these skeletons was here, maybe one of them over here to defend, but at least one of these guys over here to fight, I think I could have probably pushed this guy back and maybe clean this up, but I don't know. I didn't do that. That's the thing. I think my big mistake this entire game is not conjuring. So you can see I moved this Dark Adept over here. I think that's a mistake. I really should have concentrated more units on one side only. And again, I pulled this commander back, which again I think is a mistake because basically his push is right here. He's pushing up this way. I should have had my commander here to keep producing and pushing here myself, but I don't do that. So it ends up being a big mess for me. This guy gets cleaned up very quickly. Yeah, mages can easily take out skeletons because they can't respond to any kind of range attack. And same with wozes. So look, 2 units done. That woz gets upgraded, and the level 2 wozes are brutal to deal with. Brutal to deal with. Let's take a look at the next turn. Again, I'm pushing in here, but I don't know. I find the split of my units is really a big mistake. I was really unsure what to do at this time. And the fact that I split my units up like this, it really made me just weak on both sides. So this push is just not enough to push through. And this push is just too weak to actually hold on. So he can push through this easily, no problem. And I just can't push through this. Like, I get stuck around here and just can't push through. So yeah, he takes that out really easily. And again, just not enough units to push through here. 3 units going this way. 2 units here that are going to get taken down by the woes. And just, yeah, brutal time. And these horses in the back again, harassment. Holding my bat back as well. My bat is in the rear, trying to take my own villages rather than in his rear, trying to harass them. So, again, my scout not being used effectively, I think that's really a big problem here. So, nighttime now, this is the time for Undead to push, but again, I'm stuck in such a terrible position. These guys are just stuck in shitty positions, like halfway across the river. These guys are just like split up doing nothing. These guys are trapped, gonna get killed off. This guy, this ghost is really doing nothing. This skeleton is way back here instead of helping. This Dark Adept, again, like kind of in the wrong positioning. So all of them in a little bit bad position. I decided to kind of push on this side again. But again, just not enough to do it. Bad luck as well. Trying to take out this elf in the forest is just like miserable. Like, I really need Dark Adepts to deal with that. I do go a little bit in the rear here to pop some little villages to kind of harass them. So actually right here, we're pretty even in terms of villages captured. And he's a little bit spread out at the moment. So actually this would be a good time to harass him. For example, if I was a little bit lucky with some of these pushes, I probably could have taken out these villages here, but still not enough. This guy's going to die, and he recruits a bunch here, so this is already finished. Yeah, that ghost is done. This woes just crushes everything. Even at nighttime, 14 crush damage is just like too much. And yeah, this force really has a hard time dealing with this archer. He's got another mage here to defend. So just making this difficult. Again, not enough at one time here. And they all need to be going across the river basically at the same time to be able to make this push. Yeah. Too much. I think abandoning this guy was a bit of a mistake. At least we were able to take him out. Try to take out this guy as well, but again, just can't do it. Oof. Brutal. So there, we got rid of him. Pretty good. So actually, in this position, we're not too bad, or I'm not doing that bad. He's kind of pushing up here again. Not really enough. He's kind of occupied because I'm harassing him down here. I'm pushing in over here. If I could concentrate these forces a little bit better, I think probably we could make it out. But still, just mostly harassing him a little bit. Oh, there goes the bat. And another horse. So this is such an annoyance. 2 scouts in the back here is just really annoying to deal with because I really don't have a way to easily take out the scouts. And that makes it really hard to kind of cope with losing all these villages. So I went from 9 villages to 7 that turn because the scout took one. These guys took a couple here, and I still haven't taken this one yet. So again, very awkward positioning for me. Again, trying to send this guys in. I should be moving my commander up. I think one thing I learned from playing this against this guy is move my commander more. Like, sometimes it is good to keep him stationary, but I think for this kind of map where it's very circular, moving him up is really important to keep the pressure on. He's always moving his commander to be as close to the front as possible while still being defended. Like, he's never having his commander at the front exactly, like, so he's defended, but pretty close to where the fighting is. So the fighting is right here, his commander's right here. I should be right here, to be honest. My commander should be over here across the river in this fort to make the push better. I think if I had done that more consistently, I would have done a little bit better. Again, spreading out to grab this village, I think is a mistake as well. you need forces concentrated at the front to be able to deal with this. Again, at this point, I capture a few villages, so I do have the village advantage at the moment. And pulling my commander back, again, I think that's a mistake. Keeping my commander in the front is the best idea. I think, honestly, I just need to ignore the scouts and really push hard down here. Big resource deficit at the moment now as well. Down to 6 villages here, so big deficit. That's because these horses are just capturing all these villages in the back. But you can see I quickly go from 6 to 8. That's because I capture here, I capture here, and what else do I capture? I think I captured something else as well. I don't know what I captured, but I'm actually at a... Oh, I captured this one. So you've taken this one, I took this back, and my bat here is also capturing stuff as well soon. So, okay push here, but this is a really tough nut to crack. So there are 2 forest tiles, forest, yeah, so these are really hard to push out. And then this woe is holding the swamp, so this is a really hard defense to push. I really need a concentrated force and more Dark Adepts. 1, 2 weak Dark Adepts. I probably need at least 3 and more skeletons. So if my commander was down here instead of up here, if he was right here, this push could have worked. I probably could have crushed him. But because he's all the way back here, worried about these scouts, he's not being useful. He's not being as useful as he could be. Moving around here, again, the bat can easily... Keeping a bat back here is a good idea. And there goes Dark Adept. Unfortunate. Losing that, I need the Dark Adepts to deal with this, because these skeletons just cannot... They cannot push these elves out of the forest. They just can't do it. Okay, getting desperate now. Once an undead player starts summoning zombies, it's a little bit desperate. Zombies are just really bad. They're almost always just a waste of money. Sometimes they're useful, but most of the time they're not. You know, like they're usually not good. Yeah, this goes down, and then I think after this goes down, it's kind of like it's bad times for me. That was my last big chance, that push, and pulling my commander back, not having my commander be at the front. Where did my commander even go? Okay, he's getting more Wozes now. Wozes are a good idea. Wozes are the best way to deal with these skeletons. Yeah. Not having my commander at the front. My commander is like over here doing something. I think he's going over here, which is kind of a bad idea. I don't know. I mean, this push is falling apart. This push is basically done. Like, this guy's doing nothing. This skeleton's just guarding. This skeleton's going to die. This skeleton's kind of doing nothing as well. And he's pushing over here. So I think if I was going to win there, I really had to have this guy as close to the front as possible recruiting. And then maybe I could have pushed his defenses. But I didn't do that. And I think this push is just failing. He's going over here, but I just don't have enough income now. 8 income, but my income is really fluctuating. It's hard for me to hold any villages. So unless I'm pushing into new territory, I'm just losing villages over time. So I do take this village. I think that was kind of a mistake as well, though. Getting a ghost is a bad idea. Yeah, I kind of got the ghost to deal with the scouts, but again, a little bit of a mistake, I think. And there goes that skeleton. He actually did pretty good. He harassed them for a long time, kept a few troops in the back here. Ooh. Skeletons do a lot of damage to Wozes, but Wozes just are so brutal against skeletons that it's not even comparable. Yeah, this is all done. This big Woes, the Elder Woes, just cleans up skeletons so easily. Like, he can tear through them, especially during the daytime. I have no way to really cope with it. And you can see, I basically have no troops now. I have 9 troops on the field. 8 of those are non-commanders, so I have a ghost, a skeleton here, a zombie, 2 skeletons here, a skeleton here, skeleton here. So this skeleton's gonna die. These skeletons are gonna die. This guy is like kind of being useless. And yeah, so really schizophrenic kind of spread out right now, but honestly, again, not concentrating forces is a big mistake. I have too much of an elf mentality. I tried to play undead like elves by sending units in the back constantly, and it just doesn't work. It never works. Undead are not elves, they're not mobile enough. Your only really mobile unit is the ghost, and ghosts are just terrible against rebels. They're not good. Yeah, big mistake here. So here things start getting a little bit dire for me. I do have a big resource advantage, but again, it's easy for him to take that back, and his forces are just much stronger than mine, much more concentrated. He has 2 shamans healing, 2 wozes. Are these both elder wozes? This one's just a woz. This one's an elder woz. So either way, wozes are very strong against skeletons. They're easy to clean this up. Even this guy became a captain, so he'll get some leadership bonus as well. Yeah, so this is cleaning up. He's pushing on the right now. Again, harassing me on this side. Taking these ones as well with some scouts. So now I've gone to 5 villages. That's barely enough income to even recruit anything per turn. So every turn, I'm getting worse and worse now at this point. Trying to keep up by taking some villages so I can at least have some income. I need at least minimum 14 or 15 gold per turn to even recruit a skeleton. So, like, it's really rough. I can't even get that. This zombie is just cope. Like, he's going down here to basically die, you know? Yeah, this is all cleaned up now. So this push here failed. This guy's just harassed them, but again, he's going to get killed pretty easily. And again, this bat is also going to get killed pretty soon as well. Oh, this guy, is he going to be okay? No, he's going to die. Yeah, wozes are just brutal. You need to take out wozes very quickly, and you really need dark adepts to take out wozes. Dark adepts, or like an overwhelming numbers of skeletons with axes who can take them out. Because wozes are weak to blade axe damage. Let me actually take a look at the woes in a minute. Let's take a look at the woes. Wozes are very weak to blade damage, or not weak, but they're not resistant to it. So they're not necessarily weak to it, but they're not resistant, so blades are the best way to deal with them. They're also very weak to fire and arcane, so at least dark adepts do have arcane damage, so they can damage the wozes. But that's probably the best way to deal with them, like I said. Otherwise, you can have just a big swarm of skeletons, and you could probably cut down a woz or 2. But again, you really need that mass. You need a mass of units. Let's continue. Summoning here. Again, kind of cope summons. I think this is a weird, I don't know why. At this point, I'm kind of like in panic mode, trying to hold things together. Even though I'm up in terms of villages, I have no forces anywhere to actually do anything. Like, they're all just spread around grabbing villages. They're not concentrated enough to actually defeat anybody. So he has a big concentration. He's able to push and crush whatever comes his way. So it kind of doesn't matter how many villages I have. Even though I have 11 villages now, which is great, it doesn't translate to any kind of advantage, because for one, like, my commander's all the way over here. He's moving this force here. I think this is kind of end game for me. So you can see I went from 11 villages just to 4 villages, and I said him, I'm cooked now. This is kind of like end game for me. You can see this is a rough situation. He's got a huge concentrated force here. This is more than enough to take me out. I have like no money per turn, 10 gold per turn. I have no forces left, 5 units left, a skeleton archer, a bat, another a skeleton here, and a ghost, and that's just nothing to deal with this. Let's continue on. I'm gonna hide in my little cut castle here. Yeah, so this is end game here, and I guess I can reveal the ending now that this is a big loss for me. It was a pretty fun game though. I think there were a few key points where I definitely lost. I think I could have won earlier when he was pushing with his commander initially. If I had, again, concentrated forces and dealt with his commander when he was kind of vulnerable. Like, there's one point when I almost killed him, and if I just had a few more forces in that area, maybe I could have done it. Another point would have been when I was doing the second push over here. Again, if I had not even bothered over here, if I had just ignored the scouts and ignored all of this and just pushed with a lot of forces, I probably could have broken through. I mean, maybe. I mean, I would have had a better chance. So I would have maybe been able to break through here. Having my commander at the front here as well, like having him being here instead of being back here, that would have also probably been able to make it a lot easier. Like, if I could have broken that line, I think I would have won the game. Again, it would have just come down to if I could have broken this defense that he had over here or not. If I could have, I think I would have won. If I didn't, then obviously it would have been still a bit better position for me, because I would have had a lot of defense here. And maybe he would like move around or something. We would do another like side swap. But either way, guys, I think that's kind of game over here. You can see this is going to be game over. This is just cope at the moment. I kind of know I'm done now. And asked him here, like, I know it's game over. I asked him if I could upload this video. So if he watches this video, good game. I kind of made a lot of mistakes, I think. I think if I play Undead in the future, I need to really focus on concentrating my forces and not spreading out so much and not just being so indecisive about pushing a little bit. So let's continue on here. This is a big game over. You can see one more attack from me, and I think it's about done. Yeah, here we go. This is done. There he goes. I think one more turn. I think it's one more turn after this. Yeah, this is done here. He's got overall majority. I have nothing at this point, so this is just game over. Let's just see the last turn. I kind of just sacrificed my leader because there's no way out of this now. This is just done. So there we go. Yeah, and there he goes. So game over there. Good game. It was a pretty fun game. I definitely learned a lot about playing Undead. I need to practice Undead a lot. Undead's much more difficult faction than the other ones I've played recently. Loyalists are pretty straightforward. Rebels are kind of tricky, but they're still like fairly easy to grasp. At least if you play that kind of game style where you're very maneuverable. Like I like that kind of game. I like that kind of elf game style. So I tend to they suit me very well, I think. Northerners as well, I mean, they're pretty spammy. I think someone commented on my Northerners video that they're the spammy faction. And again, I like I like playing the Soviets in Red Alert, so they're a very spammy faction as well, so that kind of suits me too. Undead are a little bit tricky because they're kind of like, I don't really know what to say. They're very positional, not positional in terms of like positioning on the map, but positioning your units in good formation and also concentrating units effectively and balancing units, because you have units that are very good at one thing, like these Skele-Tons, who have a very powerful strike axe attack, but no range defense. And then you have units that are very powerful range, like the Dark Adept, but no melee attacks. You really need to pair these guys together to make them work together well. You have to have good unit tactics. I think that's where I suffer the most in having the unit tactics. But it's good. Maybe another game in the future. If I have a good game where I can actually win as Undead, I'll probably upload it, at least if it's interesting. So I'll see that in the future. But either way, guys, this is a pretty fun game. I had a good time with this game. It was very interesting, kind of going around the map in circles again and again. But either way, guys, I'm going to end the video here. And if you want to see more Wesnoth, be sure to like and subscribe, as well as any other videos in the future. I'm definitely going to be covering some other things coming soon, beyond just Wesnoth. I think doing these kind of every so often, doing these quick games is pretty easy, because again, it's pretty easy for me to just... I always save the replays of any good games I play, and I just pick whatever one is kind of interesting, win or loss, whatever, as long as it's like an interesting game. Long enough too. It's not like just a 5-turn game where one player dies or quits right away. Is not interesting, you know. But any kind of long, decently interesting game, I think I'd be happy to upload it and do a quick commentary. I hope you guys enjoyed this, guys, and I'll see you again next time. So goodbye, everybody.